sold out 1 hour after the White Sox beat the Tigers yesterday. Welcome to the Minisota Twins and the Chicago White Sox. And high drama expected tonight, everyone. Dick Stockton along with Ron Darling and Harold Reynolds. Neither one of these teams were expected to contend in the AL Central this year, but here they are. And Harold, the White Sox would like to ride the wings of Alexi Ramirez's grand slam home run yesterday, the dramatic blow that beat Detroit.
Well, you're not kidding, Dick. They call him the Cuban Missile. It's not because of the ball he hit last night, which was a missile, by the way. If you got a chance to see that, here it is. But this guy plays everywhere. He's a great baseball player. They can put him in center. He's going to be a shortstop next year. But right now he's playing second base. He earned the job. And you start talking about rookies of the year, his name's going to be right at the top.
And the Minisota Twins in many ways snuck up on people, Ron. And really by now no one should be surprised at what this team achieves.
You know, they're really picked to be the third or fourth team in their division. But you know what's great about them? They lost their best player, Torrey Hunter, to free agency. Johan Santana, they lost to a trade. He was their best pitcher. It doesn't matter. Ron Gardenhire's team and Minnesota has always done one thing. They concentrate on who they do have, and they've had a great season, one game away from going to the playoffs.
Well, the winner of this game will move on to play Tampa Bay in the series starting on Thursday. And for the team that loses, their season is history.
You're fast, but he'll make you faster. You run hard, he'll show you how to run harder. You're good, but he'll make you better.
This fall, discover the incredible story of a coach.
We shouldn't play him.
I'm playing. You're damn right you are.
And the player who would become the first African-American to win the Heisman Trophy.
Don't you let anyone steal history away from you.
The Express. In theaters Friday, October 10th.
I get out and I ride with my buddies every weekend, you know. We go out and get after it. Like today we hit one section when everyone stopped, second guessed it, just kept going. Rock here, rock there. I just got a handful and there she went.
True all-wheel drive, new active descent control, legendary ride and handling. Polaris, the world's toughest ATVs. Polaris Power Play Sales Event. Get to your participating dealer for up to $800 in rebates and as low as 3.99% APR on select ATVs.
I've made some bad choices in my life. They seemed like good choices at the time, but in hindsight, they may not have been that well thought through. But you know what's never a bad choice? Mr. Sub. They got 11 different toppings, and they're all great. Any combination's pretty much guaranteed good choice.
Keep digging.
Hey guys, you getting hungry?
Do you long for longer hair, but get stopped by all the breakage? Now there's a new way to make long hair happen. Only from Pantene comes new beautiful lengths. Inspired by aquacurrent science, the provitamin formula makes damaged hair stronger, up to 4 times stronger against breakage. Grow your hair longer and stronger. New beautiful lengths shampoo and conditioner. A part of proceeds helps give real hair wigs to women with cancer. Pantene.
They call and check on you and everything.
He called me and woke me up. Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, Kelly.
no.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Follow me, everyone. Check this out. New 2X Ultra Tide is 2 times concentrated, with twice the stain-fighting power in every drop. It removes way more stains better than the other guy. So it's not just clean, it's ultra clean. Next, let's clean the napkins.
Tomorrow, the Division Series begin on Rogers Sportsnet with a triple header. First, the upstart Brewers take on the Phillies. Then, Manny and the Dodgers face the Cubs at Wrigley. That's followed by the Angels hosting the Red Sox. Tomorrow at 3 Eastern.
It just could be.
Crashing into the wall.
Better than being there.
And there it is.
Sportsnet HD, bringing the game home. Rogers Sportsnet, official broadcaster of the Vancouver 2010 Olympic Winter Games.
Back here at U.S. Cellular Field, fireworks which had become a staple here in Chicago in the old Comiskey Park. You remember, guys, when Bill Veeck was here?
That's right.
And the White Sox taking the field. Let's take a look at the Minnesota Twins batting order. It has speed at the start with Denard Span. And, of course, the key players in the middle, the M&M boys, Joe Mauer and Justin Morneau. Michael Kadire coming back from injury as the DH tonight. And then the Twins, who really have shown great speed, have it at the bottom of their order. And in particular, Carlos Gomez batting in the number 9 spot. And pitching John Danks, 11-9 on the season. And starting with 3 days rest, Ron, for the first time since he can remember.
Great record, 11-9. Great ERA, 9th in the league, 3.47. He has pitched in tough luck as his team has scored 2 or less runs 15 times, 1 or less 10 times in his games this season.
So we're set to go, and the 163rd game to decide the American League Central Championship. Denard Span leading off for the Twins. Called up twice. Came up for good at the end of June. Inserted in the leadoff spot in July and has not left since. Takes a strike to start the game. Span hitting .296, 6 homers and 47 runs batted in.
You can see, you know, if you watch the defense, it's going to tell you how they're going to pitch you too. You know, they're pitching him away. The defense is playing away. Griffey's in left center field, and Span worked on hitting the ball the opposite way in batting practice the whole day.
And a call, strike 1 and 2. And the center fielder, Ken Griffey Jr., shaded around toward left center field. Span will be followed by Alexi Casilla, who you saw on deck. And there is the panorama of the infield and outfield defense. And Ken Griffey Jr. hits center. Fouled off, 2 balls and 2 strikes, or 1 ball and 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter, Denard Span.
Well, Ron, here it is. You do a first pitch strike. You know, that's what you want to do in this type of game, right?
You do. I'm telling you, his heart rate is definitely up. As you see, Joe Mauer was on the bench.
And Morneau to follow. And the pitch missing outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Span. Twins very good at getting deep into the count. Ozzie Guillen, in his 5th year as the manager, he's won a world championship for the White Sox. And now the count is full, 3 and 2.
Typical at bat here, Harold, huh, for this Minnesota team?
Yeah, I mean, he's worked the count nice. He took the first 2. He's seen everything he has. But it's interesting. He's throwing a lot of cutters. And early on, you're able to adjust to that as a hitter.
Up high, ball 4, and Span is on. So a base runner on the first batter of the game as we take a look at the White Sox in the field.
Well, you talk about Ken Griffey Jr., 10 gold gloves in center field. All of those were earned in Seattle, basically. Orlando Cabrera, everywhere he goes, he catches the ball and they win. And that's no surprise. And then you see the pitcher. You know, you got Brzezinski behind the plate, but the pitcher, Ron, they actually got the pitcher involved in the defensive graph.
They never ever show him in the defense, like they're not even out there.
He's right in the middle of the diamond. And here's Alexi Casilla, throw over to first base. Span stole 18 bases coming into this game, and Casilla very good with the bat. Leading the American League in sacrifice bunts this year.
I was going to say, Dick, one thing that happens right there, too, is that they took a look with that throw over to first base to see if he might be bunting or not. A lot of times that's what the defense is trying to do.
The key for a pitcher there is you want to hold the ball for about a 2 count. That way you'll see if the batter starts to square around, then you go to first base. That alerts your defense to what they're initially trying to do.
Joe Mauer waiting on deck, and the bunt in the air fouled out of play. 0-2 the count to Casilla with Mauer and Morneau to follow.
Well, I think it's interesting, too, in a game like this, there is a sense of urgency. You're going to see guys bunt early on. You're going to see them try to move, hit and run, do a lot of things, and try to get on the board early first.
Casilla leading the team, Minnesota's team, with 13 sacrifice bunts this season.
Danks ahead on the count, no balls and 2 strikes, and sliding back to first is Denard Span. The Twins are seeking their 5th American League Central title since 2002. They lead in the season series 10-8, but drop 7 of 9 here in Chicago. 0-2 pitch fouled off. So Casillas stays alive.
You know, it's interesting, as a base runner, I'm watching Danks and watching what he does. He had the high leg kick, went over the first time, then he went over with the little slide step. And so he's given Spann a couple different looks, but I don't know if you tip your hand like that when you're up 0-2 in a count.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that right now, Spann is probably going to stay on this base. I think he should just concentrate really on Casillas.
And Spann takes off, gets a good jump, and a line drive to third baseman Uribe, and an easy double play over to first base.
Well, it's surprising he got a good pitch to hit. He drove this ball. That's just one of those things that happens when you're running. I mean, he got a great jump. He had that bag, but the batter's got to swing with 2 strikes.
And a few feet either way, you could have possible extra bases, and the Twins could be in business. Instead, there are 2 down. Nobody on base now to Joe Mauer. Joe Mauer leading the American League with a .330 average and comes into the game 4 percentage points ahead of Dustin Pedroia of the Red Sox. Ball 1 outside to Mauer.
That's interesting, Dick, because I was talking with some of the Twins, and they were like, this is a playoff game. Why are the stats counting in this game?
Always has.
You know, but it's 163. They're like, we play 162.
But Dick, he'd have to really fall flat on his face.
0 for 7.
0 for 7 to lose the title.
That ain't happening. Not if you watch this guy take BP. That's not happening. He's got pretty good swing.
He hits about 450 in batting practice, doesn't he? Just line drives all over.
And Bauer, 8 for 12, by the way, against John Danks, including a home run. So both Mauer and Morneau have had success against the left-handed pitcher, despite the fact that they swing from the left side. 2 balls and 1 strike, the count to Joe Mauer, the leaders in the American League hitting derby.
You know, it's interesting talking to Morneau about Danks. When Danks first came up, he was just overhand, here it is, hard fastball. And now he's throwing a lot more cutters, and he's learned a lot from Mark Burley. Does that happen a lot with pitchers?
It does. When you have your ace pitcher is from the same side as you are, you try to learn to pitch like him, but it's really taking away that big curveball that can neutralize those left-handers.
And the crowd on his feet, looking for the strikeout. Here's the 2-2, and they get him. Mauer goes down. Twins hope by a double play. White Sox are, and White Sox come up in the first.
Here at our remote test facility, we put the Nissan Altima through over 5,000 extreme tests to help ensure long-lasting quality and durability. Of course, you'd never treat yours that way, right?
Sorry.
The Nissan Altima, made to drive, built to last.
The PokerStars Summer Games are happening right now. 8 different poker games, from 5-card draw to Texas Hold'em, with 500 cash winners every day. And the chance to represent Canada against Team USA for $100,000. Free tryouts for Team Canada are going on right now. Enter the PokerStars Summer Games only at pokerstars.net/Canada.
As Mother Nature, I'm proud of Mott's Garden Cocktail. 2 servings of vegetables. Zesty, smooth, and surprisingly delicious. I sure know how to pick them. Vegetables. I'm talking vegetables. Mott's Garden Cocktail.
Hi, Mother Nature again. I just love Mott's Garden Cocktail with its garden fresh taste. And I'm not the only one. Most Canadian vegetable cocktail drinkers prefer the taste of Mott's Garden Cocktail over the leading brand. Are you one of them?
From the makers of Mobil 1, the official motor oil of NASCAR, come 2 new motor oils specially engineered to enhance performance at specific stages of your car's life. Mobil Super 1000 for newer vehicles, and Mobil Super 2000 for high mileage engines. Premium performance and protection for the vehicle you drive every day. Ask for the Mobil product that's right for you at your next oil change.
Back here in Chicago, Twins don't score. Let's take a look at the White Sox batting order. Orlando Cabrera leading off, and The veterans in the middle of the lineup: Jermaine Dye, Jim Thome, Paul Konerko, and 38-year-old Ken Griffey Jr. Alexei Ramirez, the hero of yesterday's game. Pierzynski, the catcher, and Juan Uribe at third base. Nick Blackburn with his first pitch. And ball one outside to Orlando Cabrera, hitting .282. 57 runs batted in. Will be followed by Dwayne Wise and Jermaine Dye. Fouled off to the left. 0-2. Blackburn, the 26-year-old from Ada, Oklahoma.
Well, 32 starts this year. 18 of them have been quality. And just like the rest of this Minnesota team that was 2-7 here, he was 0-2 with a 7.20 ERA in Cellular Field.
Quickly ahead of Cabrera, 0-2. Breaking ball, line to left field for a base hit. First base hit of the game, and Cabrera is aboard for the White Sox.
Well, this will make hitters' eyes light up. This is that little slider that doesn't slide, hangs right in the middle of the plate, begging you.
You know, I always had a question. How do you end up hanging a pitch? How does a pitcher do that?
Well, what he's doing right now is usually nerves, trying to throw it too hard instead of really just concentrating on throwing it to a spot.
I know how to hit it. I just didn't know how to throw it. Go ahead, Dick.
You might not have thrown it.
So Cabrera with 19 stolen bases on, and here's Dwayne Wise. Throw to first base to keep Cabrera close. Wise, a career minor leaguer, and taking over for Carlos Quinn on the disabled list. Quinn was leading the American League in home runs and right now is still in second place. Wise in 56 games, hitting .256 for Chicago.
And he's given them a different dimension. You see him bunting here. The White Sox not a team that did a lot of that early in the year. He gives them a little speed, a little back control. He changes the complexity of their offense. Now, Dick, I wasn't saying Ron hung sliders. I was just asking the question.
I didn't have one. If I had one, I probably would have hung it.
Joe Mauer with the signs, no balls and one strike. Fouled off to the left. So Blackburn, who was ahead of Cabrera before he hung a slider, is 0-2 to Dwayne Wise.
See, I always thought that it was more difficult to go to the plate with the thought in mind that I'm going to bunt and then all of a sudden change and have to swing the bat. I think you just stay with it, move the runner over. So often they never are able to execute after that.
One ball and two strikes now to Wise. Jermaine Dye on deck. Jim Thome to follow for the White Sox. There's Thome. White Sox were 11th in hitting in the American League and led the league in home runs with 234. Slow hit bounding ball to second base. Casilla, and they have the runner trapped, and now Morneau. And the tag is made by Punto on Cabrera for the out.
See, yeah, I don't like that play. Dick, I don't like that play as a base runner because I always felt like if from second base to make it have to go 4-6-3 is the most difficult to turn it over. They're not going to turn it over if he flips it to second base. Wise is going to beat that out. And you're not going to outrun a major league rundown if they do it right.
And the one thing that takes away, Harold, is in today's baseball, the runner never runs over the second baseman. That used to happen in the past.
Right. You know, so you end up giving them a double play. I think if he continues on, force him to go to second base, Weiss beats that out because he didn't hit the ball that hard.
Yeah. Here is Jermaine Dye. So each team converting a double play here in the first inning. Jermaine Dye, fourth in the American League with 34 home runs. Two down, nobody on base. And the count 1-1 to Dye.
You know, I hate to go back to this, but you know, you had a thought to move the runner over when you went to the plate with the bunt, took it off, came back, ends up getting into a double play. These type of games, you want to score early.
Yeah, score early, and the little execution part of the game even more magnified on games like this.
Good pitch by Blackburn, and the count to Dye. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fastball is fouled back. The White Sox led the division by 2.5 games on September 21st. And for 144 days in the regular season, they were the leaders. And of course, the big 3-game sweep last week by the Twins, but it was in the Metrodome, got them close. So it's been cat and mouse down the stretch. The pitch is inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes to die with 2 down.
And it was interesting talking to Ozzie Guillen before the game. He was saying we didn't have that big of a lead anyway, so he didn't feel as bad as they might have if they'd have blown an 8-game lead.
Drilled fouled into the mezzanine deck down the left field line.
They make a good point, Harold. I think that when you're a team that's in a race, and Ozzie's team was certainly in the race with Minnesota the entire season, you just know that it's going to be close at some point. He just didn't know it was going to have to take a 163rd game.
And the count is full, 3-2 to Jermaine Dye. And as we said, when this season started, everyone thought the Indians or the Tigers would contend, and that just misses, but it seemed to be a ball outside.
Well, Tim McClellan, the home plate umpire, is one of those umpires that will have a very strict strike zone early in the count, early in the game. He'll open it up as it goes.
3-2 pitch, chopped to shortstop, and Punto will make the play, and the side is retired. Each team converting a double play, and Justin Morneau will be the leadoff hitter for the Twins. No score after 1.
All trucks talk reputation. All trucks talk strength. They all talk craftsmanship. They all talk tough. All trucks talk quality. Chevy Silverado backs it up. Backed by the best coverage in Canada. And now, J.D. Power & Associates' highest-ranked large pickup in initial quality. Chevy Silverado. Canada's best truck.
Making your money grow can be exciting, but it has its ups and downs. A sure thing is hard to find, and you want a sure thing. Where do you start? With an investment savings account from ING Direct. It pays investment-grade interest from the very first dollar you deposit, and it will never make you pay a service charge. Keep saving, and your money will only go in one direction. In a world of ups and downs, it's rock solid. Call. Save your money.
Ramada Worldwide. You do your thing, leave the rest to us.
Fulfill your destiny, my apprentice.
Rated T for team.
This is a total team effort. This team, everybody chipped in.
Unbelievable. This is the greatest feeling in the world.
That's what it's all about, and it's unbelievable.
If you're going to beat somebody, why not beat the best?
Top of the second inning here, and the tiebreaker playoff game between the White Sox and the Twins, and John Danks facing the cleanup hitter Justin Morneau for Minnesota. 129 runs batted in, second, and a chance to win that title as he takes strike 1. Josh Hamilton of the Texas Rangers, 1 RBI ahead of him with 130. Swings at a pitch up in the zone, and it's 0-2.
I just got a problem with the stats counting today.
Yeah.
I mean, Josh Hamilton's sitting at home with 162. Not his fault his team's not in the postseason. He had an MVP year.
In fact, he's the biggest reason they would ever have a chance to go to the postseason.
Reaching out and fouling off and staying alive. I could see the campaign, Harold, that you are going to start as soon as this game is over. And that is bring an end to stats counting in tiebreaker games.
Well, it's a playoff. It really is. And you play the game differently. Because you're going to call on guys to bunt. You're going to call on guys to move pitchers to throw when they're not used to pitch.
Morneau strikes out, so John Danks striking out both Joe Mauer and Justin Morneau. One gone. And of course, Mark Fine, the White Sox would like to do something tonight that they haven't done in a while.
Yeah, you know, you look back to 2005, Dick, and you know, this team never got to celebrate at home during that season. They clinched the division on the road and then went 11-1 in the postseason. Perfect on the road, clinching the Division Series, Championship Series, and World Series while they were on the road. So again, not that they mind winning the World Series on the road, but they're hoping they get a little bit of a celebration here tonight.
And it would be a tremendous one with everyone clad in black as Michael Kadire swings and fouls it at the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike to Kadire, who missed 85 games this year and is in the lineup as a designated hitter. And the count now 1-2, so John Danks looking sharp at the outset here, Ron.
He does. He looks like Mark Burley light, doesn't he, out there, working quickly, throwing the ball down in the strike zone.
And a high chopper handled easily by Konerko, and there are 2 down here in the second. Fifth year as manager, Ozzie Guillen, who was the manager of the year the season the White Sox won that World Series, and last year his only year below the 500 mark. And the same for Ron Gardenhire. Last season, both of these teams sub 500, and here they are. One of them will move on to play in the Division Series. And there's a strike. Good pitch right at the knees. 1-1 the count to Delman Young with 2 out.
Tell you start talking about manager of the year, Gardenhire's name's got to be in there.
The only problem in the American League, it's right behind Joe Madden.
Oh, absolutely.
All of those guys, they used to get in line right behind Joe.
Absolutely.
Once again, the White Sox crowd looking for the strikeout. And lifted in the air to right field. Jermaine Dye under it. And a 1-2-3 inning for John Danks. Jim Thome, the designated hitter for the White Sox, will lead it off when we come back for the bottom of the second.
Oh, the elevator. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Are you the cooperator's agent? I saw talking to Kathy.
That's me. You offer insurance, right?
That's right. I can protect my car.
And my home?
Yeah.
Even my mortgage?
Just did that with the client.
Oh, what about my kids' education?
I can help you save for it.
Oh, what about my retirement?
That too.
Can you make it start now?
That I can't do.
You've got a lot on your mind. Count on your Cooperator's agent for all your insurance and investments. The Cooperator's, a better place for you.
Sometimes you need a little push to let go of your Mach 3 razor until you discover Gillette Fusion. It has 5 blades spaced closer together to reduce pressure with less irritation. Switch to Gillette Fusion, Gillette's most comfortable shave.
You see, 5's better than 3. Not in golf. Yeah, but in real sports, whatever.
You moisturize everywhere else. Why not your scalp? Respect it with Advanced Head & Shoulders conditioners. Over time, its targeted moisturizers start at the scalp to nourish hair, leaving it softer, silkier, and free of visible flakes. Advanced Head & Shoulders conditioners. Respect the scalp, love the hair. Recommended by the Dermatology Review Panel.
You folks okay?
Not really.
No.
We don't know whether to top up our RSPs or pay down our mortgage.
Or if our investments are working hard enough for us.
I know what you mean. Short term, long term.
See you around.
How do you get money off your mind? By making sense of it. BMO Bank of Montreal. Making money make sense.
Back here in Chicago, beautiful weather after the rain forced yesterday's game to be delayed for 3 hours. But a cool and beautiful day in the Windy City today. Jim Thome will lead off for the White Sox, followed by Paul Konerko and Ken Griffey Jr. Tomey with 33 home runs, tied for 5th in the league, 89 runs batted in, and he takes a pitch for a strike. Blackburn getting the call almost by default tonight. Kevin Slowey was hit by a batted ball on Thursday, and Slowey could appear if the Twins advance in the 3rd game of the next round. 1-1 the count to Tomey.
You know, Harold and I were talking about that playoff game, playoff atmosphere. The only difference, full roster. So these managers have a full assortment of pitchers to go to if they need to.
Pitch missing outside, and it's 2-1. Here is the complete umpiring crew. Mentioned Tim McClellan, Darrell Cousins at first, Gary Cedarstrom at second, Jerry Meals at third, and of course down the lines Ted Barrett and Mike Everett. The 2-1 to Tomey. Good fastball. And way behind that was the veteran designated hitter who got off to a slow start this year. In his 18th year in the big leagues. 2-2 pitch, and just inside, just missed.
And Tim McClellan, the home plate umpire, hand on hips, as he does not appreciate when a pitcher starts to walk off the mound thinking that he got called 3rd strike.
So not in a game like this when he knows there's a lot of folks watching.
Payoff pitch, fouled at the plate off of McClellan's chest protector.
Hey guys, it was pretty cool for me today. I got to go into the umpire's office and get a chance to go see the replay box, you know, where they get to go in and check out the replay and all that. And
how was that picture?
I picked up the phone. I called Chelsea back to MLB.com. I was like, hey, just checking to see if it works. This is Chicago.
3-2 pitch, ball 4, and Tomey is on. So the White Sox have their second base runner. Well, Mark Fine, it looks like there's a change tonight in the coaching lineup for Chicago.
Yeah, we do have a lineup change for you, not one that the White Sox wanted. Legendary White Sox player and now coach Harold Baines fell ill before the start of tonight's game. They wouldn't give us any details of the team on what the problem was with Coach Baines, but the first base coach out tonight. Omar Munoz is at first base, an instructor for the White Sox coaching tonight instead, guys.
All right, Mark. So the White Sox, who had the leadoff man on last inning and erased on the double play, here is Konerko with Tomey on base. High fly ball to left field, and Delman Young back and has a play and makes the catch. Tomey goes about a third of the way and then comes back. So Konerko lifts a sky-high fly ball, and there's one down.
That was strange, him catching that ball right there. It looked like he was
kind of lost it in the lights.
To me, it almost like he lost it. And Mr. Konerko just missed that.
Yes, he did.
And Carlos Gomez, of course, aware of the problems for Delman Young, came over pretty close to him just in case he had some real problems.
Yeah, he's right there. He's going to come right in the picture. He was there to get it. And that's one of the things the Twins do so well, just fundamental baseball. And that's a fundamental play to get over there and back him up.
So here is Ken Griffey Jr., played in 40 games after being acquired from the Cincinnati Reds. And a line shot, hooking and going foul. Griffey's last home run was last Wednesday off of Nick Blackburn at the Metrodome. It was the 3rd home run for the White Sox and the 18th overall for Ken Griffey Jr., who has not been in postseason since 1997 when he was a member of the Seattle Mariners. Here's the 0-1 to him, and it's a strike. Fastball. Blackburn's doing a good job of keeping the ball down.
Keeping the ball down, and he's also let everyone know he's going to pitch all these left-handers in with that cutter.
Yep, and I was just going to say to you, he gives up a home run in the Metrodome. How you go back inside? You have to.
You have to. He missed with that pitch.
Tomey with a short lead, not a real threat to go, and the pitch is outside.
I like how he's moving the ball in and out. You know, it gives you a chance. And even the ground ball, the double play he got was a ball that Wise reached for that was away from him. So he's moving it out. He's keeping the hitters off balance.
Yeah, he's doing a good job with his fastball, his cutter, and his sinker, but he hasn't showed that he can get a breaking pitch over yet. I mean, it's still early, only the 2nd inning.
And 1-2 And reaching, striking out is Griffey, and that will be the first strikeout for Blackburn, and there are 2 gone.
So that's a pitch that you could always get Ken out with. The problem with him in the day, when he was the best player in baseball, you elevate that 3 inches and he could hit it off over the left field wall.
And here is the big hero of yesterday's win over the Tigers, Alexi Ramirez, hitting .290, 21 home runs, 77 runs batted in. And he is a star in the making, Harold, and
I love it. He puts a smile on your face every time he comes to the plate. You know, the first time I met him in person was at Yankee Stadium a couple of weeks ago. He's 6'3". You know, he is a lot taller than you think, and he's a wiry guy. I don't know where he gets all the power, but he does. Generates it.
2 out, Tommy the base runner, and the first pitch misses ball 1, and this is the home run yesterday, and look at the expression. And he knew it. Alexi Ramirez, his grand slam was his 4th of the year, broke a 2-2 tie in the 6th inning and set the major league record for rookie grand slam home runs. 1 to watch, Ramirez, as he fouls it off, and of course a center fielder could play center and may be the shortstop of this team next year, Harold.
He can play anywhere you want him in the diamond. That's what's great about him. The other thing I love about him was Ozzie was talking about yesterday. Ozzie was saying, hey, just kind of flip on the right field, pick up a run for us. I got this one, don't worry about it.
1-1 the count. Tommy with the leadoff walk. 2 down. 2 balls and a strike to Ramirez. A.J. Pierzynski is on deck. Ron Gardenhire.
If you're at home watching the umpire, it looks like he's calling. It takes a long time for him to call the strike, but he says it at the plate as a hitter. You hear it immediately.
Bluffing a bunt. And it's now 3-1, and of course his signal for a strike is within. You don't see it way out. It's within his body.
Nobody gets more frustrated than the broadcaster.
That's right. He is the play-by-play guy's nightmare, Tim McClellan, but an outstanding umpire.
And a veteran umpire, one of the best. 3 balls and a strike. Ball 4, and Ramirez walks. Second walk given up by Blackburn here in the 2nd inning. So for the first time, team has a runner in scoring position as Tommy goes to second base. And here's A.J. Pierzynski, who has been the Twins' starting catcher. And 5 for 10 against Blackburn this season. So a 2-out opportunity for the White Sox here in the 2nd inning. And it's chopped to shortstop, and Punto will make the play, and the side is retired. The White Sox lead 2, and we go to the 3rd, no score here in Chicago.
Drive of your life, the incredibly fuel-efficient 2009 Pontiac Vibe.
Universal Pictures presents.
All right, let's go!
You ready for this?
That's the way they do things down here.
The incredible story of the first African-American to win the Heisman Trophy.
There are some lines that some people don't care to see crossed.
They're gonna be looking up to you. You owe them more than just running a ball.
The Express, the Ernie Davis story, in theaters October 10th.
New Neocitrin Extra Strength Chest Congestion and Cold Liquid. The effective medicine of Neocitrin in a unique warming syrup breaks up the mucus responsible for chest congestion. Neocitrin, good to be back.
Everything's gonna be
Buckley's Complete relieves your cough, cold, and flu symptoms, including fever and sore throat. It's the same awful taste as the original. Buckley's. It tastes awful, and it works.
Wow. Beautiful, huh?
You know we're gonna ask to come up every weekend.
That's why we got you these. Giving us our own key? Not exactly. We're giving each of you your own cottage.
What?
That one's for you.
And that one's for you.
I'm Rashad Evans, wishing Rogers Sportsnet a happy 10th anniversary.
Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
John Danks, who retired the Twins in order in the second inning, facing Brendan Harris, the third baseman for Minnesota, and takes high for ball one. Harris, Punto, and Gomez. Harris, a hot hitter in the month of September, and another pitch way high. 2 balls and no strikes to Harris, a natural shortstop playing third base. There's Punto, the switch hitting shortstop on deck. And there's a strike on the inside corner, 2-1.
Talking to Gardenhire, he felt like Harris has been a big difference maker on this ball club.
Foul back on the screen. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
He stabilized their defense. He gave them a lot more offense than they expected. 114 hits in a little bit of time he played.
He's always been a good hitter. They just never have gotten to where you want him defensively.
And a ground ball to second base. Eaten up by Ramirez. Makes the play, and Harris is retired for the first out in the third inning. There's the story of the rivalry this year. The Twins leading the season series, but the White Sox have won 7 of 9 at home. The Twins swept, and there is a great disparity between playing in the Dome, obviously, Ron, and playing here.
And I think the Twins, and rightfully so, have a problem with winning the series, and the coin flip decided where you're going to play this game.
And Nick Punto trying to bunt his way on, and it goes foul. And you're going to see a lot of that from the Minnesota hitters. Just about anyone could bunt. Earlier this year, Delman Young, who is more of a power hitter, was bunting in the late innings against the Seattle Mariners, and it got Ron Gardenhire and the Twins a victory in the 9th inning.
They do all the fundamentals, Dick, but I want to know who called heads when tails won the toss.
Punto, the switch hitter, and hitting .310 in the month of September. Pitch misses inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Nick Punto. John Danks, who is 1-1 in 4 starts against the Twins this year, and an ERA of 7.91. So you got to wonder a little bit, going with 3 days rest for the first time this year. He's been a surprise this year, but 23 years old, you figure with 3 days rest he could do it.
Yeah.
Up high.
You know, we got a pitcher sitting up here with us and all this pitch count stuff. Did you have pitch counts and stuff like that?
No pitch counts, and I think it's overrated. When you're a young guy, 3 days rest, the adrenaline of this evening's game will get you through physically.
And a strike on the inside corner by Danks, and it's a full count, 3-2 to Nick Punto. Danks, 23-year-old from Austin, Texas, in his second year with the White Sox. 3-2 pitch, and reaching out on a pitch that was outside the strike zone, and Punto, trying to stay alive, does just that. What about this heads and tails thing, Mark Fine?
Well, I got you covered on this one, Dick. You know, they had never won a coin toss, and assistant GM Rick Hahn was told he was going to make the pick. He asked his 5-year-old son, Jake, what to call. Jake said, call it heads, Dad. And they got it.
Oh, my goodness.
And a big advantage it is for the White Sox. And the Twins were at home watching yesterday's game. They were ready to either celebrate at the Metrodome if the Tigers had won, or just get on the bus to the airport and travel here.
Question is, does the 5-year-old, if they've advanced, get part of the share moving forward?
Well, you guys would vote on it. What would you give him? You guys generous?
You got to give him some of that for this game right here, I guess.
3 balls and 2 strikes to Punto with 1 out. And he gets jammed and fouls it straight back. So Punto making Danks work here.
And this is one of those game-changing at-bats.
Yeah.
It's making him work. Everybody's getting a chance to see it. And in the American League, the 9-hitter is a leadoff type of guy in Gomez. So this is helping him out. He can go up there and be a little more aggressive, and they can do some things.
Fouled again. In fact, Carlos Gomez led off more times than anyone on the Minnesota Twins this year. And he is batting 9th. And then since Denard Span got into the action, there is Gomez, who has 33 stolen bases. So they have that great speed in the 9 spot. Timeout called at home plate.
Well, talking about hitting 9th, I always liked hitting 9th because you had a 1-hitter and a 2-hitter hitting behind you, and so you could steal. They would take pitches. There's a lot of things you can do.
Ball 4, and Punto is on. That is the second walk issued by Danks. Well, tomorrow on TBS, the 2008 MLB playoffs get underway with a triple header of Game 1 action, starting with the Brewers taking on the Phillies. Then the Dodgers battle the Cubs, and in the nightcap, the Red Sox take on the Angels. 3 great games. Coverage begins at 2:30 p.m. with TBS MLB on deck. Carlos Gomez hitting .259 and has driven in 59 runs. And Punto on at first base has stolen 15 bases as the first pitch fouled off to the left.
I got to watch this young man in his first season last year in New York. Of course, he was involved in the trade coming over here for Johan Santana. Unbelievable skills, unbelievable speed, just learning how to play the game. That's a pretty outstanding year when you're learning how to play.
And he's still growing. That's the amazing thing.
Running up to bunt, and the pitch is taken for a ball, 1-1. Gomez actually was the best hitter against Chicago pitching overall at .384. 5 doubles, 3 triples, 2 home runs. And the opening day center fielder for the first time in 10 years, Torrey Hunter, had been in that spot as a fixture. Lead at first by Punto, 1 out. Going over there.
Punto was bluffing like he was going to go, and Danks, being a left-hander, can see him.
And it almost enticed him to throw over there, made him throw over there.
So it makes you wonder, you know, are they going to put anything on, or what's going to happen here in this situation?
Well, sometimes when you're a runner, Harold, you don't have intent of stealing, but you have intent of getting on the pitcher's nerves while you're at first base.
Close play here, almost leaning the wrong way, and Punto gets back. One pitch fouled off, and in talking with Ron Gardenhire before the game, he said a lot of times I'm not trying to hit and run. I'm really looking for the steal in those situations because we have players that can do just that.
You're absolutely right, and you can see he's disrupted Danks' rhythm already. He's got him on a slide step, starting to pay a little more attention to that base runner, and now Gomez gets a ball out over the plate. But now you're in a situation 1-2, you're probably not going to be running.
Crowd always on its feet, ready to look for the strikeout, and not much of a lead that time by Punto.
Although they did run 0-2 earlier.
They did with Denard Span.
John Danks has thrown 46 pitches thus far, and we have 1 out and 1 on here in the 3rd. And it's popped up to Cabrera at shortstop, and makes the catch on the edge of the outfield grass for out number 2. And that'll bring up Denard Span, the Twins' leadoff hitter.
Well, you see the numbers here first time through, all the way through the game, and the numbers just shoot up for John Danks. You look at most pitchers in the big leagues, you'll see a steady progression of those numbers. The ace pitchers are the ones that stay pretty steady or even go down as they get later in the game.
2 down, and Punto the base runner, and here's Span, who walked to start the game. Pitch high, ball one. Pitch is down, 2 balls and no strikes.
You know, it's interesting, the alignment that the White Sox have in the middle. He looks as if Cabrera is going to be covering. Now, remember, we talked about the first time when Span was up, he was shooting the ball to the left side.
And the left fielder, Dwayne Wise, is playing as if Span were a right-handed pull hitter. He hits a hopper, fair ball, fielded by Konerko, and the side is retired. Let's go to Ernie Johnson. No score in the middle of the third.
If eco-friendly driving is in your nature, check out the fuel-efficient Dodge Caliber. With its advanced world engine and available continuously variable transmission, you'll go farther on every tank, meaning more time to enjoy your tunes on the 458-watt sound system and refreshments from the refrigerated chill zone. The eco-friendly, budget-friendly Dodge Caliber. Responsibility rocks.
All right. Who ate my volcano taco?
Don't look at me.
Introducing Taco Bell's new Volcano Taco. With its spicy lava sauce and red taco shell, it tastes even hotter than it looks. Was me. Feel the heat. Think outside the bun. For more heat to eat, get the Big Bell box meal.
Decorating or renovating? Use Homeworks home remodeling software and see how the job looks before you start, using actual photos of your home. Approved by the Canadian Home Builders Association, Homeworks is available only at Home Hardware Building Center, and Home Furniture. Homeworks features more than 2,500 actual products and a $25 home gift card with a project purchase. Before you start, use Homeworks and picture the difference. Only at Home Hardware.
Help is close to home. It's finally here. A hockey fantasy pool by Canadian hockey experts for Canadian hockey fans. The Sportsnet.ca fantasy pool. Form your own league with your friends or join a public one. Draft your team, trade players, plus get stats and advice. Presented by hockey experts, powered by hockey experts. For the Canadian fantasy hockey expert in you. The Sportsnet.ca fantasy pool. Now available online. Visit Sportsnet.ca/fantasy and join now. On your desktop, on the go. Sportsnet.ca.
Field here in Chicago. Tiebreaker 2008. And the division series begin tomorrow. Interesting that the White Sox playing tonight. The Cubs will begin tomorrow. The only time both Chicago teams played in postseason back to 1906. Blackburn's first pitch fouled off by Juan Uribe. Uribe, the veteran, hitting .249.
1906. Wow.
That was in the World Series, and the Cubs winning in 6 games. Ground ball, fair ball to third base. Brendan Harris across the diamond, and Uribe is retired for the first out here in the third. Here is Orlando Cabrera, who led off the White Sox first inning, hitting an 0-2 pitch to left field for a base hit. It's the only base hit in the game, and then was erased on a double play. Nick Blackburn missing away, 1-0.
And that's the difference in a playoff scenario. Both teams didn't advance the runner when they got him on, and you have to do that, I think, in a game like this.
And that's in for the strike, and for the first time in this game, the White Sox did not get the leadoff man on with Uribe retired. And Cabrera, as you said at the outset, he's been a winner everywhere he's been, Ron.
He really has, with the Red Sox, of course, with the Angels.
Shortstop Nick Punto retires Cabrera. 2 ground balls, 2 outs. Talking with Ron Gardenhire, the Twins manager, and talking about, well, pitching is always key in these kind of games. His view of it.
Well, I think both guys are throwing the ball. You can see maybe a little nerves on our side, some little bit of tight swings, as you call them. But you know what? That's what it's supposed to be early in the game. Well, hopefully our pitchers will keep throwing the ball, and if Blackie does what he's doing, eventually, hopefully, we'll be able to run around and get some runs.
Well, Ronnie, one thing I've seen so far is just your hitters. Their at-bats are great, getting deep into the count, seeing a lot of the pitches from Danks so far.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to do. You have to work guys, and we try to do that, see enough pitches, and hopefully if he makes some mistakes, you know, as we go along here, get his pitch count up, make some mistakes, we'll bang him.
Ron, thanks for being with us.
All right, guys, appreciate it.
And Brendan Harris handles this in foul territory in a 1-2-3 inning, the first for Nick Blackburn, and we've completed 3, no score here in Chicago.
White Sox and Twins through 3, which means you get me, Jason Portwando, inside our Sportsnet Connected studios. This is the unofficial start to the postseason. Officially, Wednesday and Thursday, the fun begins. First up, the AL. Sox and Angels, this series could be better than the actual World Series itself. Then you get the Sox and Rays, or Sox or Twins and Rays, depending on who wins this thing, obviously. There's a look at the NL side of things. Game 1 of the Phillies and Brewers, followed by the Dodgers and the Cubs, as Canadian Ryan Dempster looks forward to making that start at Wrigley.
I've been here for 5 years now. It's a very interesting place to play. It's great to know that when you come to the ballpark on a Tuesday afternoon or on a Saturday afternoon, and it doesn't matter who you're playing, there's going to be 41,000 fans there cheering for you, pulling for you.
Connected follows the game. More baseball after these.
The ProLine Instant Replay Contest is now back. That's right, you can enter your ticket for a chance to win one of 3 grand prizes. You and 3 friends will be given an exclusive VIP hockey experience in a private box, plus a chance to share up to $100,000. Go to ProLine.ca and replay any valid ProLine, point spread, or ProPix ticket for a chance to win. Hurry, contest closes October 31st. Enter the ProLine Instant Replay Contest now at ProLine.ca.
Chicago's got to be the baseball capital of this country, and on the first pitch, Alexi Casilla hits a soft line drive to left field, handled by Dwayne Wise for out number 1. Minnesota Twins have had 2 base runners thus far. One was erased on a double play, both by virtue of walks. Span in the first to lead off, and Punto with 1 out in the 3rd. Here is Joe Mauer. Talked about how successful Mauer and Morneau have been against John Danks this year, but they were both strikeout victims their first time up. And that's down low, ball 1. This is the only game going, and this will round out all of the playoff teams. The AL Central title at stake here. Winner will play Tampa Bay Thursday in the start of that series. There's a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike to Mauer. Been a comeback year for him after an injury-riddled season. Blackburn has done well in his first 3 innings on the mound. And a strike, 1 and 2, as Danks really finding the corners here.
Danks is dealing. He really is. He's just got that paintbrush out right now, and all you can do is just sit there and look at it.
And you saw the numbers. What do the numbers mean? And that's the thing. You can throw out everything that has happened. Tonight's the game. And here's the 1-2 pitch, and just getting a piece of it on the straight change by Danks. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I always found it interesting in a game like this. You throw out the numbers because the concentration is so focused.
Yes.
Did you find yourself changing stuff that you might have done early in the year?
I don't know if you change stuff that you do early in the year. You try, you know, baseball players teach us a habit, but you try to make sure every pitch counts.
1-2 pitch high and away, and the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. On deck is Justin Morneau. This is a Minnesota team that was 3rd in the league in runs scored, yet dead last in home runs. So you know they had to manufacture a lot in other ways. Inside is Danks, and the count is full after getting ahead of Mauer.
That's when you turn around and the umpire says, that's the league leader right there, baby.
Well, it's one of those pitches you don't get because the catcher's sitting outside. It's a strike on the inside part. We very rarely get that from the home plate umpire.
Here's the 3-2. Strikes out Mauer on a fastball for the 2nd time in the game. And there are 2 away here in the 4th.
Well, what I'm seeing from Danks is he's mixing in the overhand fastball and the cutter. He got into a habit of throwing just the cutter, and now he's throwing ball. Here's the ball. He's going to come over the top and just say, here it is, Joe. I challenge you.
It was beautiful pitching by Mauer. Threw it right by Joe. You don't see that happen very often to a guy who hits 330.
Here's Justin Morneau, and the first pitch is popped up, and a play for Juan Uribe in foul territory, and a 1-2-3 inning for John Danks. Only 9 pitches thrown in that inning, and in the middle of the 4th, still 0-0.
Oh no, didn't get you, did he?
What?
'Cause those things, psst, it's over. Hey, you know what? I've got a buddy with a skunk farm down the road. He'll know what to do. I could shoot you over there in the 2009 Suzuki Grand Vitara. New fuel-efficient 4-cylinder engine, 3,000-pound towing capacity. Go on. Oh, it's a little tricky to find. I'll navigate. You drive.
We think you should test drive a new Suzuki Grand Vitara, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you to do it.
Sometimes you need a little push to let go of your Mach 3 razor until you discover Gillette Fusion. It has 5 blades spaced closer together to reduce pressure with less irritation. Switch to Gillette Fusion, Gillette's most comfortable shave.
You see, 5's better than 3.
Not in golf.
Yeah, but in real sports.
Whatever.
There's something fresh in the air. Febreze candles burn slowly for up to 30 hours, infusing the air with scents that are simply irresistible. So irresistible, you just can't keep them to yourself. Febreze candles in 7 fresh scents. It's a breath of fresh air.
Saving money is like the weather. Everyone talks about it, but you should save for a rainy day. But how? An ordinary bank account? That's not saving. It just sits there being service charged. Invest it. Okay, you might win, but where is it when you need it? Put it in an ING Direct Investment Savings account with high interest, no service charges. It grows. Yet, it's always at your fingertips. A glorious feeling. Call. Save your money.
And welcome back to U.S. Cellular Field. No score as the White Sox come up in the bottom of the 4th inning in the heart of the order. Jermaine Dye, Jim Thome, and Paul Konerko, the 3-4-5 hitters. Dye bounced to Punto at shortstop his first time up. First pitch and fouled off for a strike. Nick Blackburn has thrown 10 of 12 first pitch strikes through the first 3 innings of this game. So you talk about wanting to get ahead of the hitter. Blackburn has done that, giving up the only hit in the game, Cabrera, in the first inning. And a line shot, base hit, and coming on over is Delman Young. Dye will take the big turn and hold it first, the second base hit of the game for the White Sox.
Well, he got a ball that was up, and, you know, the only time he's been hit, it's only his second hit of the ball game, and he's throwing the ball pretty well. It's hard to be critical. But he ends up getting this ball up a little bit. Nice hitting by Jermaine. Now, what makes this play for me is not the swing, but it's Delman Young in left field. This guy's got one of the best arms in all of baseball. He cuts this off, and now he keeps a double play in order.
small little defensive plays that are made during the course of the game can set up the entire game for you.
It's a fundamentally sound Twins team as Jim Thome fouls it at the plate for a strike. And that's all Ron Gardenhire asks of his team. Just to be able to handle everything and be fundamental and think of what you want to do on a given play. Stay focused.
You're right, and that's what wins it. Look at how deep their infielders are playing in the middle, because they're taking advantage of Thome's speed, and now you can play deeper and still be able to turn a double play. Those are the little things that they do so well in baseball.
1-1 to Thome, who ranks 14th on the all-time home run list with 540.
And what playing deep does, now it allows you to have range to knock down a ball, make a play, and still be able to possibly get a double play. That's great stuff.
Ken Griffey Jr. in the hole. On deck was Paul Konerko and fouled off the end of the bat. 1-2 to Thome. And we're getting some shots. Uribe earlier and Thome here that you've got to really dodge the bullet, so to speak.
Heads up for Paul Konerko there on deck. That ball just missed him.
That's when you go stand on the other side.
That's right. That's right.
Let me warm up on the Twins side behind you, Jim.
Capacity crowd at U.S. Cellular Field. Konerko looks unfazed right now. Here's the 1-2. And misses inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
What are you trying to do here, Ron, if you're on the mound? What are you doing?
Well, I think the key here is you don't want to go to 3-2 on Thome because, you know, you want to get him out inside. They're playing him to pull. It really takes away anything that you want to go away on him. So I think he's going to still try to prod him inside with that cutter.
Just missing away, and a full count to Thome.
And that's why he went 3-2, because he went away.
Yes.
If he'd have thrown something in, seriously, he probably would have swung.
He would have swung. He would have got at least a swing. Maybe not put in play, but definitely a swing.
The payoff pitch. Ball 4, they appeal, and he's out. Third base umpire Jerry Meals indicating that Thome went around, and he took off like a jet to first base. But he is out on strikes.
It's so hard to lay off that cutter, and that's what you were talking about on the 2-2 pitch.
And, you know, he didn't lay off. And the thing you do as a hitter here, don't you, Harold? You know you went around, so throw the bat and get down there. Maybe you'll induce the umpire.
Maybe they didn't see.
You got to throw the deke on him, no doubt. He went a long way.
So that's the second strikeout. And here's Paul Konerko. So there's 1 out. Dye with a leadoff single on at first. Konerko fly to left his first time. Crowd still muttering over that call by third base umpire Jerry Meals, who had the good view.
Well, the interesting thing about the White Sox, you have to put together 3 hits in a row to get a run, because they don't run in the middle of the order. Now they bop, they can hit the ball in the park, but you got to throw together a string of hits to get a run.
And the breaking pitch in there for the strike, and it's 1-1, and they can pop it. They had 123 more home runs than the Minnesota Twins during the season.
And remember, the Twins play in a homer-friendly ballpark. I mean,
in the American League.
That's right.
With a DH.
Outfield straight away for Konerko, and they play him to pull in the infield. 1-1 to count. Ground ball to third, over to second, and the throw high, safe at first base. Harris got it to Casilla, whose throw to Morneau was high, and Konerko is safe at first base. Dye is erased on the force out.
I'm sorry, Dick, but they did everything right. They played deep again on Konerko and had a chance, and Casillas just threw the ball high. Jermaine Dye 6'6", sliding in, so he tried to throw it over him instead of coming down and knocking him down.
And Dye, because of his lack of speed, wasn't even into his slide yet, so still was standing up when Casilla had to make that throw.
Great point. It might hurt him with Griffey coming up. But he's got to throw that right through the runner. It's his responsibility to get down. You can't worry about it. He tried to go high and play it safe.
Well, let's see if it comes back to haunt the Twins. Griffey struck out his first time up. So the runner at first base is Konerko with 2 down and 1-0 the count to Ken Griffey Jr. Played in 102 games with the Reds and 40 games with the White Sox. Pops this one up, and chasing it is Harris. Has a play and makes the play, going over his shoulder. So the leadoff single wasted by the White Sox after 4, still 0-0.
Universal Pictures presents... We shouldn't play him. I'm playing. You're damn right you are. The story of the first African-American to win the Heisman Trophy. That's Ernie Davis. The Express, in theaters October 10.
Connect to everything you love in life with BlackBerry.
It's a story. The best part about hockey are the stories, the drama.
That's a major league collision right there.
And you create it. I'm a sucker for drama. What can I say?
Rated everyone 10 and up. Console now starting at $199.
Fulfill your destiny, my apprentice.
Rated T for Teen.
Tomorrow, the Division Series begin on Rogers Sportsnet with a triple header. First, the upstart Brewers take on the Phillies. Then, Manny and the Dodgers face the Cubs and Wrigley. That's followed by the Angels hosting the Red Sox. Tomorrow at 3 Eastern.
And the first pitch down low to Michael Kadire, the designated hitter. John Danks facing Kadire. Delman Young and Brendan Harris has not allowed a base hit through the first 4 innings. 2 base runners by virtue of walks for Minnesota, and the pitch is away, 2-0. Kadire was out. Konerko unassisted, and there is Young waiting to hit. And a strike on the inside corner, and it's 2-1.
I was going to say, it's truly remarkable that the Twins are even in this position, considering Kadire missed 85 games. Yeah. Torrey Hunter signs away as a free agent. Santana's traded away, and they're still here.
Well, you wonder where the power went. Well, last year Morneau and Kadire combined for 47 home runs. This year only 26. So that's a big deficit as far as the power numbers are concerned for Minnesota. Danks is behind 3-1, and a line drive base hit to left field. Wise will chase it into the corner and will go to the wall, and Kadire will wind up at second with a double, and the first hit for the Twins tonight. A leadoff double by Michael Kadire, and the first time they've had a runner in scoring position.
And this is a ball blistered down the line. The difference now, Kadire gets to second base. Remember that we were talking about the great play Delman Young made, cutting the ball off to keep the runner at first, and they ended up being a big difference in that last half inning.
And if Wise could have got his glove down and just got to that one in time, he might have been able to hold Kadire to first base, but not able to as that ball goes to the wall.
So the Twins have a threat here in the 5th inning. And Delman Young, who skied out to Jermaine Dye in right field his first time up. Big cut on a fastball, 0-1.
Well, he's trying to shoot the ball to the right side. I started chuckling a little bit because we were talking about how he had him bunt once before, and he said, "You ever done that before?" Nope, just then, it's the first time. I don't think we'll see that here.
And there is Cabrera trying to get behind Kadire at second and keep him close, and a foul ball out of play to the right. And Danks is ahead of Delman Young, no balls and 2 strikes.
Well, trying again there was Delman to shoot that ball to the right side. It's amazing with hitters because when you get this late in the season, you're asked guys sometimes to bunt in these situations because the games are so significant and they just don't know how.
And into the air to center field, going back to tag. Ken Griffey Jr. going back deep to center field. Kadire will tag up and will go to third. And there's one away, and the Twins have a runner at third with 1 out in the 5th inning. A few moments ago, we talked with the White Sox manager, Ozzie Guillen, and he said there'd be butterflies before this game. And how does he look at the contest thus far?
Oh, I think doing well. I think both pitching throwing the ball real good. I think I see Danks better than what we thought. The long throw strike, we'll be all right, but we're okay. It's one game. Hopefully, we come with the best laugh.
Ozzie, I see him throwing sunflower seeds on you. Real nervous group down there, huh?
Well, I think Burley pitched the way he throws sunflower seeds, be unbelievable pitcher.
Oz, thanks very much.
All right, all guy pays, Miami pays, baby.
Meanwhile, Brendan Harris, the batter, with the infield in, and a runner at third with 1 out, and a major scoring opportunity for the Twins. The first pitch to Harris is a strike, grounded out his first time up. I love Ozzie Guillen saying, tomorrow I'm going to be in Florida one way, either in Tampa or back home in Miami.
That's right.
Either way.
So an opportunity for Brendan Harris if he can make contact here. 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss, and it's 0-2 to Harris.
Well, honestly, this is how the Twins score. They execute with Delman Young. Yep. And Harris got to get him in.
Yeah, you give Young the credit here if he actually gets him in. That was a tremendous at-bat.
They call it the blackout, and the White Sox fans asked to wear black and 40,000 towels that say Sox Pride issued before the game. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Danks to Harris in the dirt, and a good stop made by Pierzynski. Turned around and lost it for the moment.
He tried to deke him here too. That's the, AJ's always in the middle of something. Remember the postseason last few times. But watch this. This is a ball. He scoops. He knows where it's at. Then he acts like, where'd it go? Did it go to the wall?
Well, if you're Kadire and you don't see a ball trickling past to the backstop, you're not going to go anyway. 1-2. Two balls and 2 strikes to the Twins' third baseman. Nick Punto, the number 8 hitter, is on deck for Minnesota. And it's popped up. Short center field, and here is Griffey. Kadire tagging up, and he's going to go. Here comes the play at the plate. It's going to be close, and the runner is going to be out. And I don't think he touched home. Pierzynski with a great block at the plate, and Griffey throws out Kadire at home, and the inning is over.
Beautiful, huh?
You know we're going to ask to come up every weekend.
That's why we got you these. Giving us our own key? Not exactly. We're giving each of you your own cottage.
What?
That one's for you.
And that one's for you.
Welcome to the world-famous University boat race, where the boys from Cambridge take on the defending champions, Oxford.
They're huge, and half of them in the Olympics. We've lost already.
Not to worry. I've given those tired blokes some Red Bull.
You've given Red Bull to our opponents? We may as well abandon ship right now.
Calm down. Red Bull revitalizes the mind, remember? I only gave it to the ones rowing on the right side of their boat. You see?
Red Bull gives you wings.
Well, actually, Red Bull helps to temporarily restore mental alertness or wakefulness when experiencing fatigue or drowsiness.
Connect to everything you love in life in a bold new way. Introducing BlackBerry Bold. As beautiful as it is powerful.
You style chest hair here?
No.
Too bad.
Ow! I'm sorry.
Excuse me, I need an order. Did you just come up here?
Excuse me. I'm here for the stylist position.
And the crowd here at U.S. Cellular Field pumped up after the great defensive play, and no wonder that Ken Griffey Jr. has 10 gold gloves to his credit, and we'll show you one of the reasons why. Alexi Ramirez jammed off the fist, handled by Blackburn, and there's one away here in the 5th inning. The play that ended the inning and has started with the catch and a great block at the plate by Brzezinski.
Well, this is a great challenge, but Griffey makes a great play. We so often hear about his power and forget that he is a gold glove center fielder in his day. This is the old 38-year-old Ken Griffey Jr. making a great throw.
But I will say it's a chance taken by Minnesota, but it's a chance they have to take. You don't know how many times you're going to get to score against this White Sox team. They took the chance. It took a perfect play. The White Sox made that perfect play.
And they had managed to run only one hit in this inning. So it's that kind of a game as A.J. Pierzynski gets a hand from the fans for his play at the plate, holding on to the ball to boot, and takes the ball 1-0, bounced out his first time up. So if nothing else, Ken Griffey Jr. paying dividends for the acquisition from the Reds if the White Sox can move on. There is a strike, 1-1.
Well, and the interesting thing about that trade, Dick, is that Jr. was hesitant to leave because he had to come play center. Now, he was playing right field in Cincinnati because of the injuries, and he was, I can't play center every day.
He can play it tonight.
Absolutely. He said, now I come out when the bullpen comes in. Play my 6. I signal for the right-hander, and I go on in.
Fresher legs.
1-2 to Pierzynski with Juan Uribe, the number 9 hitter, on deck for the White Sox. And strike 3, and Pierzynski with a couple of words for Tim McClellan as he walks by. Called out on strikes. That is the 3rd strikeout for Blackburn. We'll catch all the action of the 2008 Major League Baseball postseason. The excitement begins tomorrow with the Division Series on TBS. And Harold, you're going to go on to follow the winner of this game against Tampa Bay Thursday. And Ron, you and I will move to the north side for the series with the Cubs, and being joined by Tony Gwynn.
We'll have to make sure we put in for our travel expenses, Dick. You know.
Long way, 32 blocks south, 32 blocks north.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Mark Fine and I will be getting up at 4:30 in the morning to catch our flight.
That's
nice knowing you guys.
That's 2 in a row for you, right?
Yes, indeed.
0-1 to Uribe. We didn't know what Uribe's future was going to be on this ball club, but you know, with the injury to Joe Creedy at third base, they were able to find a handy veteran to handle things there.
And he's got great experience, and you know, that's the thing about being versatile. He has the arm strength enough to play third base, and you have the confidence in the manager that he's going to catch the ball for you.
So Uribe the batter with 2 outs here in the 5th inning. White Sox have 2 hits, the Twins only 1. Reaching out and a pop-up. Casilla, the second baseman, makes the catch to retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning for Blackburn. We completed 5, no score.
Play Happy Maniacs. Cool. That's impressive.
Get what you really want in the 2009 Ford Focus, starting at only $14,799.
I need 70 more rolls of paper.
I need an ultrasound machine.
If you're a business owner, you need to spend a lot. Now there's a card built to give you a lot back. The new Business Gold Rewards card from American Express. Choose to pay with points to fly anywhere, anytime. Or transfer your points to Aeroplan instantly. Get 25,000 welcome points for a ticket to almost anywhere in North America. Plus, the first year's free, so give us a call. The American Express Business Gold Rewards card. Built for business owners.
New Neocitrin Extra Strength Chest Congestion and Cold Liquid. The effective medicine of Neocitrin in a unique warming syrup breaks up the mucus responsible for chest congestion. Neocitrin. Good to be back.
Buckley's Complete relieves your cough, cold, and flu symptoms, including fever and sore throat. It's the same awful taste as the original. Buckley's. It tastes awful, and it works.
Well, I did it, all right? It's done. I killed him.
He was always gonna get killed, no matter what he did.
Is your silence supposed to say something?
How do you expect me to operate? What are you keeping all the cards to your chest?
You walk out on me, you know what that means.
What does that mean?
Body of Lies from director Ridley Scott. Starts October 10th.
Cool night here in Chicago, but the concession stand's always busy, as they will be in Wrigley Field tomorrow night. Make sure you get the change and maybe a tip.
Preferably old style, Dick.
Nick Boteau leading off in the 6th inning against John Danks and takes strike one. Danks giving up his first hit, a leadoff double to Godire, who was at third base and erased on a great throw by Ken Griffey Jr. and a terrific play by Pierzynski at the plate. The one big scoring threat we've had. Breaking ball hit out to left field, and Wise has a play, and he'll make it for out number one. Once again tomorrow on TBS, the 2008 MLB playoffs get underway. A triple header, game one action. Brewers taking on the Phillies. Then the Dodgers battle the Cubs, and in the nightcap, the Red Sox take on the Angels. Coverage begins at 2:30 p.m. with TBS MLB on deck. And how about those Brewers hanging in the way they did?
Oh, fantastic. You know, getting rid of their manager with 12 games to go in the season.
Well, I'll tell you what, that really irked a lot of people, and they still were able to pull it off. Yeah. It worked.
Carlos Gomez popped up his first time. And a drive hit to center field. Ken Griffey Jr., plenty of room. 2 fly balls, 2 outs here in the 6th.
You know, the interesting thing about this game, and this is what happens when you go into postseason, you know the other team so well. There's not been a ball hit where you go, oh, there's nobody going to get to that ball. They're all standing in front of everything. Even Griffey on the throw to the plate was in the right position.
Especially the way they do it now with all the charts. So all the charts now are in line after 18 games between these two teams.
2 down to Denard Span, who walked and bounced out in the infield his first 2 times up. Shows a bunt. Third baseman Uribe playing a bit on the infield grass at third. There's the way the infield is playing Span. Good speed. And fouls it out of play. Denard Span, first round, 20th overall pick in the 02 draft. And you want to talk about the Minnesota Twins. I don't know any organization that really has had a better farm system for decades than this franchise. Inside.
I think what they do too is as well or better than some of the other organizations is that when they get these young kids, they have one game plan. Everyone's on the same game plan, how they play the game, how they're supposed to execute. And once they get to the big leagues, you have a full roster now of guys that have had that 4, 5, 6 years.
And they don't panic. They don't rush them to the big leagues because they have an investment in them. And that's a big difference. I remember when Torrey Hunter was here, they sent Torrey back to AAA 2 different times until he learned to hit the ball the other way. You know, little simple things like that.
3 balls and a strike to Denard Span. with 2 down here in the 6th inning. No score. Only 3 hits in the game. Inside, ball 4, 2-out walk. And Spann trots to first, the 2nd time he's been aboard by a base on balls. 3rd walk issued by Danks, and it will bring up Alexi Casilla. Welcome to the tiebreaker game. The 1-game playoff for the AL Central title here in Chicago. Dick Stockton, along with Ron Darling, Harold Reynolds, and Mark Fine. Twins and the White Sox, playing by virtue of the White Sox win over the Tigers yesterday. Throw to first base, diving back is Spann. No score in the game. The White Sox have 2 singles, and the Twins were held hitless until Kadire doubled to lead off the 5th inning, and then he was erased trying to score on a fly ball Griffey to Pierzynski in a spectacular play at the plate. Again over there, and again Spann gets back.
Well, here's how close they came right here with the play from Griffey. Gets the throw to the plate, and you got a challenge. We talked about it earlier. Great play all the way around. That's a baseball play. I love it.
You may not get another opportunity like that, Ron.
Well, you're going to try to make an opportunity here. If you're Denard Spann, you need to steal this base early in the count. Give your hitter Casilla a chance to get a couple of strikes to hit.
And that's why Danks has gone over 3 straight times to keep him close.
Yeah, and as a base runner, he's got a huge advantage. And I go back to the 1st inning when Danks showed him every move he had. He even stole on an 0-2 pitch. So now Spann gets there in a situation now where we're in the top of the 6th. It's late in the game. He's got every confidence in the world that he can steal this guy, a base off this guy.
Pitch is outside, and of course the other aspect, Ron, is when you're on the road, you've got to take that chance to get that run in, because you're not going to get the last chance in the 9th inning.
Yeah, and I think the way their bullpen sets up Minnesota, they have a great closer in Joe Nathan, of course. You want to get a lead for your pitcher. Give him a little bit of breathing room.
Both pitchers have been superb tonight. The 1-0, and it's in for the strike, and on that pitch, Spann was not sure whether there'd be a throw over there, was leaning and then actually going back to first on the pitch.
Well, a lot of times when you're not running, you play it safe. When you know you're going to run, then you change your whole thing. A lot of times, if a left-hander, I knew I wasn't going to run, I want to make sure that I get back and don't get picked. He's going.
84th pitch, swung on and missed by Casilla, and Spann wasn't going then either. 1-2.
Tried to get a little bit of a jump, but he quick pitched him with the slide step.
And once again, the fans in black standing, looking for the strikeout to end the inning. Not close. It's inside. 2-2. And of course, an important hitter here in Casilla with Joe Mauer on deck.
I think you got to go in this situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get thrown out, you still got the 2-hitter leading off next in.
Almost like another leadoff hitter.
There's Mauer hoping he gets a chance. Again over to first base. Do you guys think, Harold, that Spann has the confidence to go? He looks that he's not really sure what Danks is going to do over there.
Well, I think what he's trying to do is get him on the higher leg kick. The time he was going to go, he went low slide step on it. When he lifts it up and goes home, I think we'll see him run.
Spann is off, and reaching out and fouling off is Casilla on that pitch outside the strike zone.
Well, here's what I mean. You watch the pitcher. Now, once he gets a high leg kick here, you know that he's going home. He's got him read already. And the key is once that knee or foot crosses the back leg, that's what he's got to go home or else it's going to be a balk. But he was waiting to get the high leg kick.
Perfect read, Harold. Good point.
I think Danks got a slide step if he doesn't want him to run.
And Casilla strikes out, and that'll do it. Twins retired in the 6th inning. And right now, here is Ernie Johnson in our Atlanta studio.
get out and I ride with my buddies every weekend, you know. We go out and get after it. Like today we hit one section when everyone stopped, second guessed it, just kept going. Rock here, rock there. I just got a handful and there she went.
True all-wheel drive, new active descent control, legendary ride and handling. Polaris, the world's toughest ATVs. Polaris Power Play sales event. Get to your participating dealer for up to $800 in rebates and as low as 3.99% APR on select ATVs.
I have made some bad choices in my life, I'm not gonna lie. I've got regrets about them too. But you know where you can never make a bad choice? Mr. Sub. They've got 5 kinds of bread for you to choose from when you order a sub. There's white, whole wheat, multi-grain, matzo cheddar, and Greek. And they're all baked daily, so there's just no way you can make a bad choice. Not like some people.
It's my microwave!
Want to follow your favorite hockey team on the road? Rogers Sportsnet presents the UltimateBet.net Hometown Hockey Poker Challenge. Go to ultimatebet.net/sportsnet now and enter the free daily poker qualifier for your chance to score a trip for 2 to watch your home team play in North America. This prize package includes airfare, hotel, $500 cash, and tickets to see your team play live. Sportsnet presents the UltimateBet.net Hometown Hockey Poker Challenge. Check raise your way to the game today.
Shutout, complete game, and the Mets go to the playoffs.
Lost to the Atlanta Braves in 6 games.
That's the year that in Atlanta, right, that Kenny Rogers walked Andrew Jones, I think, to end that ball game.
Your memory's better than mine. I'm not checking that one.
Top of the order, bottom of the 6th, Orlando Cabrera takes ball 1. Cabrera led off the White Sox first with a single, has one of their 2 hits, and bounced to shortstop his last time. Shows bunt, and takes the ball 2-0. Since 1969, the 1-game playoffs, of course, starts with 78, the Bucky Dent home run, and last year when the Rockies beat the Padres. 2-0 to Cabrera, again squaring around, and takes a strike on the inside corner, 2-1.
Well, he's just trying to do anything to get on. You know, Blackburn has been sharp. You got to try to get a guy off the mound. I remember I played for an old man named George Case one time, and he said, when you got pitchers dominating like that, get them off the mound. You got to bunt, do something.
Check swing, foul at the plate. So it remains 2-1. Two balls, 2 strikes, and that was the reaction of Ozzie Guillen to that previous pitch. Here's the 2-2 lined and snared by Morneau for the first out.
You're gonna have to earn it tonight. That's that defensive alignment.
That's beautiful play there by Justin. Nice hitting by Orlando. That outside fastball, driving it that other way, but you're right, just in the perfect place.
And guys, one of the hardest hit balls we've had tonight.
Yeah.
So Cabrera with a pat on the back for making contact, and here's Dwayne Wise, 0 for 2. And the first pitch is strike on the inside corner, so the career minor leaguer Dwayne Wise getting an opportunity in 1 game away from getting into postseason.
That's pretty cool.
Grounded to first base, handled by Morneau, so he has had 2 shots hit at him, and there are 2 away.
Well, you know, Blackburn earlier this year, about 5 starts ago, got hit with a comebacker, and it kind of got on him a little bit, and for the next few starts he struggled. Why? Because he was kind of afraid to go away to the hitters. Those pitches that you throw away, those are the ones that he hit back through the box, but now he's going inside and lefties and also using the other side of the dish. That's why he has a shutout through 5 2/3.
He's allowed only 2 hits, has walked 2 and struck out a pair. And facing Jermaine Dye with 2 out, nobody on, and a strike to Dye. Dye singled his last time up to center left field, has one of the 2 hits for Chicago. Gets jammed and pops it up. Joe Mauer has a play, and a 1-2-3 inning for Blackburn, his 2nd in a row. We've completed 6, no score in this tiebreaker game.
Looking more and more like the first team to one is going to win this thing. Jason Porwano joining you once again from inside our Sportsnet Connected studios. We got nothing, at least in terms of scoring to report through 6, but we've got some scoring elsewhere as part of your Ramada update. Little preseason pucks, wings, Canadians, Max Pacioretty. Little roof work on Jimmy Howard, 1-0. Back comes Detroit. Off the Ryan O'Byrne turnover, it's Billy Leno. Through the hole, numbered 5 on Carey Price. We're tied at 1 at that point. Checking the scoreboard in the prep season. It's still 1-1, I can tell you that, trust me. Following the game, whenever it ends, Sean and Martine will join you with Connected. They'll talk more NHL exhibition action for you, including the Flames taking on the Oilers. That's always a good one. Lane Kiffin getting fired. A Major League Baseball playoff preview and the sounds of the week. More baseball on the other side of these.
Sometimes you need a little push to let go of your Mach 3 razor until you discover Gillette Fusion. It has 5 blades spaced closer together to reduce pressure with less irritation. Switch to Gillette Fusion, Gillette's most comfortable shave.
You see, 5's better than 3.
Not in golf.
Yeah, but in real sports, whatever.
There's something fresh in the air. Febreze candles burn slowly for up to 30 hours, infusing the air with scents that are simply irresistible. So irresistible, you just can't keep them to yourself. Febreze candles in 7 fresh scents. It's a breath of fresh air.
Nick Blackburn and John Danks. I don't think anyone anticipated a pitcher's duel to the degree that we have it here as we go to the 7th, no score.
Well, you just don't anticipate that pitchers this young in this kind of game would able to rise to the occasion, but both have been on top of their game.
And there's Joe Mauer bunting, and it's a fair ball, and the throw to first in time. So Mauer, who struck out his first 2 times up trying to get aboard any way he can, is retired. Krzyzewski to Konerko.
It's a nice play by Przynski. Now watch the mask on this. Watch his mask get in the way. Almost hits his arm as he starts to throw this ball. Just concentrate on that. Watch this. This is how close that came to being a ball hitting the mask and bouncing away. A little thing like that might change this whole game.
And it's interesting, he has the mask set up with the helmet of the older kind of players, not the one that's like a hockey helmet now.
Justin Morneau takes strike 1. He's been retired twice.
Here's a good look. Great job of, see the fundamental though, he filled the ball with the glove and the hand and did everything right.
Morneau going around, and it's strike 2, so the heavy hitters for the Twins, Joe Mauer and Justin Morneau, have come up empty, and the crowd smelling a strikeout. And a comebacker off the glove, and Cabrera will make the play. 1-6-3. Morneau is retired for out number 2.
I know Morneau's upset with that ball hitting the pitcher, but he's out either way you look at it. Because Cabrera was standing in the middle. See where he's at? That ball's right at him. And then he makes a great adjustment and throws on the run to get him. Again, you have this clock in your mind, how long you have to get rid of that ball. And he does a great job, and that's why Cabrera's a winner. Everywhere he goes.
And of course, you're fortunate that you deflected to a place where the shortstop can get there, not in between. And here is Kadire offering at the first pitch a fastball. Fouls it off for a strike.
You'll see some veteran pitchers when they're out there, they'll let that ball go because they know exactly where their defensive positioning is. Not so much when you have a younger pitcher.
Danks, 23 years old, and a pop-up. Kadire, and on the outfield grass, Ramirez, and giving way to Dye to retire the side. 6 pitches thrown by John Danks, retiring the Twins in order. White Sox come up in the bottom of the 7th, no score.
When it starts, when it's streaming from your heart, let it out like a waterfall. I'll give you anything at all.
Who are you running for?
Join friends, families, and thousands of CIBC employees on October 5th.
Are you ready for a refreshing Trident splash?
Hello, Signora. Do you think my heart is made of stone?
No.
Then you've forgotten your dream to visit Florence.
No,
Why then do you shop? Why do you leave your Emma's card in your purse?
It was just this once.
My heart wants to believe you.
David, can you forgive me?
Bella, I forgive you.
Oh, the elevator. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Are you the cooperator's agent? I saw talking to Kathy.
That's me. You offer insurance, right?
That's right.
I can protect my car.
Uh-huh.
And my home?
Yeah.
Even my mortgage?
Just did that with the client.
Oh, what about my kid's education?
I can help you save for it.
Oh, what about my retirement?
That too.
Can you make it start now?
That I can't do.
You've got a lot on your mind. Count on your Cooperator's agent for all your insurance and investments. The Cooperators, a better place for...
Welcome back to Chicago. Tiebreaker 2008 on TBS as the appetizer to the Division Series, which begin tomorrow with 3 games, all game ones, and this one, and you can feel the tension begin to increase a bit here. Jim Thome leading off in the bottom of the 7th inning against Blackburn, takes ball 1. Thome walked and struck out. Thome will be followed by Konerko and Ken Griffey Jr. And the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Both these teams 88 and 74 on the year. And you look at their numbers overall, pretty even. And this game as even as you can get. Right. And there you see Don Cooper, the White Sox pitching coach, on the phone as Thome takes a strike. And it's 2-1. The AL Central standings, and whoever figured the Tigers would finish in last? Most people thought they had a murderer's row lineup, and the Indians would be strong contenders. And no one thought the White Sox and the Twins would be at this point.
I was going to say, what a compliment to the Kansas City Royals.
Yes, good point.
I mean, they battled down the stretch, and that's why we're here today, because the Royals played so well this season. Hats off to them.
And in the air, deep to center field. Gomez going back, looking up. It's gone. Jim Thome with a home run. White Sox lead 1-0. And number 34 this year. So the team that led the American League in home runs goes long ball to take the lead in this tight taut pitchers duel. Jim Thome with the home run. It's 1-0. And here is Paul Konerko, who takes a strike.
He didn't just hit a home run, he hit a bomb. That was a missile. Mercy.
One ball, one strike.
Look where this thing lands. And you know what made him swing at that was a high call on the pitch before. Look where that ball lands.
That's where the men hit him.
Great smile on the face of Jim Thome, the DH. 1-1 to Konerko, and a foul at the plate. A ball and 2 strikes.
They act like it's over. But they're getting to that point where they feel like they're getting to the big man at the end of the game.
Well, he missed a couple times this game, Blackburn. Every time he's left the ball up, it's been hit hard. That one, I think you're right, Harold. 2 balls in a row up in the strike zone.
Twins have bullpen activity. The 1-2 to Konerko. And a foul at the plate. Nick Blackburn has pitched superbly, but the home run by Thome giving the White Sox the big lead here. And 1-0 looms large. Jose Mijares and Jesse Crain warming up. Crain is the right-hander. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Konerko. Nobody out here in the 7th, and it's in tight, 2-2.
Well, I tell you, if you would have asked Gardenhire before the game, if Blackburn can get me to the 7th with 1 run, take it all day long.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in our pregame show, Cal Ripken Jr. predicted that Jim Thome would hit a home run.
Oh, no.
Ground ball hit to second base. Casilla, well, that's not a very good response, Harold.
Oh, no.
Konerko is retired for the first out. What kind of a reaction is that?
It's killing me.
We're hoping we don't have to go in the studio now. I don't want to hear that.
We got to hear that from Cal. Eck, I feel
I
for
think
you.
you're
Ernie,
giving,
I'm feeling for you guys.
I think you're giving Cal short shrift here. 1 out, and the batter is Ken Griffey Jr. Thome just soaking it in after his mammoth home run. 541. And getting a piece of it is Ken Griffey Jr. for a strike. And the White Sox have countered with bullpen activity of their own. 2 pitchers warming up in both pens. 1-1 to Ken Griffey Jr. And he made the key play defensively when he threw out Michael Kadire in the 5th inning, trying to score with 1 out. And after the catch, thrown out at home plate, the closest the Twins have come to scoring. Griffey hits a drive deep to right field, and it's going to be off the wall on a bounce. And Griffey will walk into second with a 1-out double. Ken Griffey Jr. getting it done with his arm and the bat, and will go out and give way for a pinch hitter.
Well, you know, here it is. He said it's time to go to the bullpen.
Yeah, that's right.
He did his job. Nice game. But, you know, it's interesting watching the adjustments I've watched Griffey make. He started getting his hands. See how his hands, you can't hardly see him. He got them so far wrapped behind him. He's trying to get them back to where they're not, but he's still got one of the prettiest swings in baseball. Ron, you saw this swing all winter one time, didn't you?
I did see it all winter one. I'm in his book, by the way, many times over, but it's interesting to see him wrapped up like that. It's almost like he's trying to generate more power, but it might be creating less.
Yeah.
Trying to get into postseason again. Ken Griffey Jr. has done it twice in '95 and in '97, and here is Alexei Ramirez, and they're going to walk him with first base open. Brian Anderson went in to run for Griffey, and Ramirez will be walked intentionally, and runners will be at first and second with 1 out, and they'll pitch to Pierzynski.
Well, I got to think they're getting ready to go to the bullpen, bring the left-hander in this next situation. AJ, you're not going to see this guy again.
Crain was the left-hander, the right-hander throwing, and the left-hander warming up in the bullpen.
It's Mijares.
It's Mijares.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that's what they're going to do. I'd be surprised if they...
That's it. You're right. Here's Ron Gardenhire. But it all started with the leadoff home run by Jim Thome. White Sox lead 1-0 and threaten with runners at first and second and 1 out. New pitcher. We'll be back.
redesigned 2009 B-Class, starting from $29,900. Visit your local Mercedes-Benz dealer for details today.
You style chest hair here?
No.
Too bad.
Ow! I'm sorry. Excuse me, I need an answer. Did you just come out here?
Excuse me. I'm here for the stylist position.
And Nick Blackburn really pitching superbly tonight, but will leave with the White Sox leading 1-0. Gave up only 4 hits, and the one that hurt him, of course, was the leadoff home run by Thome. And he is responsible for the runners at first and second with 1 out. And Jose Majerus, 23-year-old left-hander, has come in.
Well, he just made his debut on September 13th. Imagine that 2 weeks ago, and now he's in the biggest game of his life. From Venezuela, the hard-throwing left-hander. Started this season, Double-A New Britain.
I saw him pitch there. I lived not too far from there, and I watched him throw this season. I thought he looked familiar. I didn't know he was.
You know him anywhere. Giving up only 1 run in 9 innings pitched, and last pitched on Sunday. Pitched 1 inning and struck out a batter. So here is Pierzynski, 0 for 2, took a called third strike his last time, and the White Sox with a chance to get some breathing room here, leading 1-0. And the White Sox have bullpen activity. Matt Thornton is throwing in their bullpen. Lefty against lefty, and it's sliced down the left field line and drifting out of play.
A.J. Pierzynski has really learned how to hit the left-handers the opposite way. When he first came up, you could get him out consistently with balls away.
And I think the other thing he does, Harold, is that against left-handers, he moves closer to the plate and just really dares them to throw it inside. If they can't, anything outside he can handle.
He's blonde now.
Juan Uribe is on deck, a right-handed hitter. Majerus is 0-1. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
What kind of nerves is Majerus feeling right now, man?
Well, you knew Blackburn, who's been around a little bit, had nerves when the game started. I mean, I think even the hardened veteran, Ron, you've been in this situation, have to feel something.
But you see, occasionally you get these young guys. I remember Frankie Rodriguez when he first came up. You get these young guys that don't even feel the situation. It's almost too big for them to wrap their brain around, so they just come out firing BBs.
Yeah, I always hated when people would say, he doesn't know where he's at. Come on, he knows where he's at.
Anderson, the pinch runner, is at second base, and Alexi Ramirez, who has walked intentionally on at first with 1 out. Down low, 2-1.
And Ron, you made this point earlier that the rosters are bigger in this game. Now it allows them to go to a left-hander.
And they go lefty, righty, back and forth, something you couldn't do in a regular season game. You'd have to be fearful at some point of running out of relievers if they run extra innings.
Majerus is 2-1, and a bounding ball, fair ball, and Morneau's only play to first base. The runners will advance to second and third. Anderson to third, and Alexi Ramirez to second. So 2 are down now, and the White Sox have 2 runners in scoring position with Juan Uribe coming to the plate. Want to remind you, tomorrow the division series open up on 3 fronts on TBS. The Brewers and the Phillies will start it off, followed by the Dodgers and the Cubs, and then the Red Sox and the Angels. And it all starts tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. So here is Uribe. Hitting .342 with runners in scoring position this year. Takes the ball inside. So situation is to Juan Uribe's liking here, Ron.
Well, it is, but with the left-hander out there being We talked about only 2 weeks of time here in the major leagues. You need your veteran catcher to be able to work this pitcher here, because you do have the base open. You do not want to give a good pitch to Uribe to hit, although a young guy out there with the bases loaded, that's not a great option either.
And you know, sometimes you have an advantage as a pitcher because they've never seen it. You know, all of a sudden, boom, who is this guy in the middle of the most important game of the season?
That's why late in the year, when you play teams that are out of it and you're a contender and you see a pitcher you haven't seen, you wonder how those teams out of it beat contenders.
Yes, you're right. Absolutely.
Count to Uribe is 2-0. Anderson is at third. Alexi Ramirez at second. And 2-0 the count. On deck, top of the order, Orlando Cabrera. White Sox lead 1-0, trying to add some more here in the seventh. 2-0 pitch, line to left center field, and coming on over and making the catch is Delman Young. Uribe got good wood on it, retired, but Tomey's homer gives the White Sox a 1-0 lead after 7.
From the makers of Mobil 1, the official motor oil of NASCAR, come 2 new motor oils specially engineered to enhance performance at specific stages of your car's life. Mobil Super 1000 for newer vehicles and Mobil Super 2000 for high mileage engines. Premium performance and protection for the vehicle you drive every day. Ask for the Mobil product that's right for you at your next oil change.
All right, check it out. My pizza deal availability matrix shows which days have the deals. Like today, nothing. If we
or there's Pizza Hut's Pizza Mia's. They're just $6 every day. All 365.
That's my matrix.
Pizza Mia pizzas are just $6 each every day when you order 3 or more one-topping pizzas made with real Canadian pizza mozzarella and old world sauce from vine-ripened tomatoes.
And here,
$6 every day.
$6 never tasted so good. Order today. Prices may vary.
To make your walls rock, just roll on new Beauty Tone Flex Rock. Only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Use Flex Rock on drywall or painted surfaces. There's no priming necessary. Create the look of marble, old world plaster, suede, and more. Flex Rock hides imperfections, comes in 36 designer colors, and it's incredibly tough. Pick up easy-to-use Beauty Tone Flex Rock. Only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center.
Help is close to home.
The Proline Instant Replay Contest is now back. That's right, you can enter your ticket for a chance to win one of 3 grand prizes. You and 3 friends will be given an exclusive VIP hockey experience in a private box, plus a chance to share up to $100,000. Go to Proline.ca and replay any valid Proline, Point Spread, or Pro Picks ticket for a chance to win. Hurry, contest closes October 31st. Enter the Proline Instant Replay Contest, now at Proline.ca.
Here's the 8th inning, and the Twins trailing 1-0. Swinging at the first pitch, Delman Young lifts it to right field, and Jermaine Dye settles under it finally to make the out. Brian Anderson, who came in to run for Ken Griffey Jr., replaces him in center field for the White Sox. And there's John Danks, 93 pitches thus far. The most he has thrown was in the 3rd inning, but retired the Twins on only 6 last inning. In fact, he has allowed only 1 base runner since Kadyr's leadoff double in the 5th.
And what happens, a lot of times you hear, well, why aren't they taking more pitches? Because you're looking for something to hit when a guy is dealing that much. Now, Delman Young swinging at the first pitch right there. You can't do that in this situation.
Here's Brendan Harris, 0 for 2. And a ball outside.
And the reason I say that is they had a 6-pitch inning last half inning. Now he throws 1. They had him on the ropes. He had 87 pitches heading into that inning.
Then he settled down. And Danks, by the way, has pitched 8 innings only once this year, and that was against the Indians on July the 1st. And here he is in the 8th inning, but behind Brendan Harris, 2-0. Winner of this game will play Tampa Bay Thursday. The loser goes home in this 1-game decider for the AL Central. And the pitch in for the strike, 2-1. Nick Blackburn, the starting pitcher, giving up 1 run on 4 hits, but one of those hits was a home run. Call strike 2. So Danks comes back after falling behind to level the count, and the crowd waving those Sox pride towels, and a foul ball down the left field line.
Danks is sharp, man. He's hitting the cutter inside, the fastball, the four-seamer away. I mean, it's difficult to figure out what side of the plate he's going to attack.
He's made that plate about 2 feet wide.
Yep.
This is the 100th pitch, and it's a base hit through the hole in left field. Brendan Harris with the second hit of the game for the Minnesota Twins. And of course the White Sox have the lead at home, and Mark Fine, A.J. Brzezinski talking about the big difference between here and the Metrodome.
Yeah, you know, not to take anything away from the crowd or the job that John Danks is doing, but Brzezinski predicted that the Twins would struggle today because at the Metrodome they can pound the ball off that concrete in front of home plate and get a lot of ground ball hits. He said they're going to have to lift the ball in our park, and I like the way our guys run down fly balls. I like our chances. Obviously Danks has proved them right tonight. And of course having a 53-28 record at home doesn't hurt either, and we're going to have a pinch runner at first base for the Minnesota Twins, and it's going to be Matt Tolbert. And there you see the 7-2 home record over the Twins for the White Sox. 1-8 on the road, but they're not on the road. So Tolbert running for Harris at first base with 1 out, and here's Nick Punto, who was 0 for 1 with a walk.
I think he might be in there to move him over. Because I was just going to say, the most difficult thing to do, come off the bench cold and face a left-hander with a good move and get picked off. It's not good.
No.
Tolbert running for Harris. Holding him on is Konerko.
Shortened that lead real quick, didn't he?
He's got a pitcher's lead now. I think those are the two toughest things, to come in and pinch run and to come in the last inning of a colder night defensively. I think they're two real hard things to do.
Keep in mind, Punto now 1 for 12 against Danks in his career. And there's a fastball and a strike, 0-1. We're in the 8th inning here in Chicago. Dick Stockton along with Ron Darling, Harold Reynolds, and Mark Fine. Both of these teams finished tied for first in the AL Central. White Sox had to go the extra day to beat the Tigers yesterday so that they could play this game. And the Sox lead it 1-0. In the dirt, good stop by Brzezinski. And it's 1-1.
And you're seeing they've worked him, the last 2 hitters. The last, Harris got the base hit. He worked the count. He got deep in it, got a base hit. Now you got a 1-1, and they've taken Danks out of the rhythm. All of a sudden, you're going to get something to hit right here, Nick Punto. We may see a hit and run or something like that in this situation.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. And again, getting back to first. What a difference in performance for John Danks than his last outing when he lost to the Indians, giving up 7 earned runs in 4 innings. And that's why you really never know start to start, do you, how a pitcher's going to go.
Well, I think for the White Sox, they're going to have to really think about him pitching on short rest. He seems much sharper than he's been all season long.
First time he has pitched on 3 days rest. And off the fist, ground ball to Cabrera. They get 1, the throw to first. They get the double play, and the side is retired. White Sox lead 1-0 after 7.5.
What happens when designers imagine a refined sedan, while engineers craft a powerful sports car? What happens? You get something better than both. Introducing the all-new Nissan Maxima, the 4-door sports car.
Sometimes you need a little push to let let go of your Mach 3 razor until you discover Gillette Fusion. It has 5 blades spaced closer together to reduce pressure with less irritation. Switch to Gillette Fusion, Gillette's most comfortable shave.
You see, 5's better than 3.
Not in golf. Yeah, but in real sports, whatever.
It's not about the destination, but the discoveries you make along the way. Now the experience comes to life in your clothes. Introducing the Downy Radiance Collection with Scent Pearl Infusion. With an embrace, Scent Pearl's release to renew the delicate fragrance. Where will the scents take you? The new Radiance Collection from Downy. Let beautiful feelings unfold.
Are you tired of utility knife blades that snap, wobble, and get dull quickly? Try the new benchmarked Shark, only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. The Shark's patented serrated blade lasts longer, stays sharper, changes faster. The Shark devours carpets, rope, asphalt, shingles, and the heavy-duty Shark has a spring-loaded wire hook today, just $19.97, only at Home Hardware.
Help is close to home.
Here in Chicago, the White Sox take a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. And Matt Tolbert, who went in to run for Brendan Harris, will replace him at third base. Jim Thome, who has accounted for the only run in this game with a leadoff home run last inning. And now the top of the order for Chicago, Orlando Cabrera, 1 for 3, facing Jose Majerus. And he takes a ball outside. Majerus did a pretty good job getting out of that last inning.
He did, and I think that's why Ron Gardner had the confidence to let him start against the leadoff hitter Cabrera here in the 8th start.
Cabrera will be followed by Wise and Dye, top of the order. And there is a strike, 1-1. Meanwhile, the 2 closers are up in the bullpen. Joe Nathan, Bobby Jenks. And Joe Nathan, and Ron Gardenhire said, would you use him in 2 innings? Said, we haven't had much success, but we would tonight. And there's a grounder to shortstop, and Punto will make the play, 1 gone in the 8th.
Well, Dick, here's a look at that double play that ended the last half inning. Watch Cabrera get it to it, but Alexi Ramirez, you look at how the footwork here. He throws the ball while he's in the air, and this is just athletic and a gun. What'd you tell me, Ron? What'd you say? What was that line?
I said you can't always define the next superstar, but you know it when you see him. And he's just outstanding.
Yeah, that's the Cuban Missile, no doubt.
And as long as you don't add crisis to it, I think we're safe. Here's Dwayne Wise, and he shows a bunt and takes the ball 1-0. Wise is 0 for 3.
It's going to be a crisis for opposing teams against Alexi Ramirez. That's the crisis.
And again, Ozzie Guillen said wouldn't be surprised if you saw him at shortstop next year. And there's a call strike, 1-1 to Wise.
Means Orlando's moving down the road
again.
Well, we're not sure where he'll be next year. And there's a breaking pitch, good one by Majerus, in for the strike. So this 23-year-old left-hander from Venezuela showing pretty good poise out here, despite the fact that his team is down 1-0. There's Nick Blackburn, who started, pitched well, but made the mistake to Thome. 1-2, took something off that pitch, lifted into short left field, but Punto going back to make the play, and there are 2 gone.
Oftentimes you get pitchers from Venezuela, Dominican, Puerto Rico that play in the Caribbean Series, and that's one of the biggest events in winter ball as they represent their countries. And so when you get in a situation like this, he's been tested before. He's feeling pretty good. He's done a great job. They weren't afraid to use him against the right-hander, left him in against Weiss, and here we go, Ron.
We'll see Ron Gardenhire going out to talk to his young pitcher.
Well, he'll get a pat on the back for sure, and we'll see more of Jose Majerus as the new pitcher coming in is Joe Nathan in the 8th inning. We'll be right back.
Hello.
Ticket to Vegas, please.
One moment, please.
Extra Air is not responsible for anything.
So, Vegas was it? All righty. That's $3.99 one way, plus $25 for your second bag, and I can just tell that's overweight, so that'll be another $100. Would you like a seat with an armrest?
How much?
1 arm or 2?
Don't get robbed by unreasonable fees. At WestJet, our fares are fair. It's just another way our owners care for you.
The Proline Instant Replay Contest is now back. That's right, you can enter your ticket for a chance to win one of 3 grand prizes. You and 3 friends will be given an exclusive VIP hockey experience in a private box, plus a chance to share up to $100,000. Go to Proline.ca and replay any valid Proline, Point Spread, or Pro Picks ticket for a chance to win. Hurry, contest closes October 31st. Enter the Proline Instant Replay Contest now at Proline.ca.
Everywhere.
And back here in Chicago, and Joe Nathan, who is a great closer this year, 4th in the American League with 39 saves, obviously just trying to hold the fort, hoping the Twins can get at least a tying run, being called on here in the 8th inning, guys.
Well, desperate times call for desperate measures, and Nathan has to be in this ballgame to face Dye. You don't want to see Dye hit one out of the ballpark. 5 straight seasons of 36 saves or more, and I consider him one of the top 3 in baseball.
Oh, no doubt about it. And the other thing about this, you don't want your season ending a 1-0 game and Joe Nathan never gets in.
Yeah.
You want to give yourself a chance to get back to the plate and keep this game where you might be able to have a chance to tie it and extend it, or maybe go ahead and win.
Nathan, last pitch on Sunday, pitched 1 inning, struck out 2, has faced the White Sox 6 times this year, and has a 1.29 earned run average and 2 saves. And Jermaine Dye, 1 for 3. Singled in the 4th inning. So the native of Knoxville, Tennessee, in his 9th year, one of the premier relief pitchers, coming in with his team trailing 1-0. First pitch in for a strike, 2 out, nobody on base for the White Sox in the 8th.
Well, when you start thinking ahead to the World Baseball Classic coming up here in next spring, this guy Joe Nathan is going to be the closer for the U.S. club, because he is probably the top American closer for sure.
1-1 the count. Looking ahead to the Twins' 9th inning. Scheduled hitters are the number 9 hitter Carlos Gomez, and then the top of the order Denard Span and Alexi Casilla. Line drive, base hit left field by Jermaine Dye. His 2nd hit of the game. And let's listen to the hand for Jim Thome as he comes to the plate. Thome with a leadoff home run, and it was a blast to straightaway center field, leading off last inning, and that's been the only run of the game. White Sox with a run on 5 hits, the Twins no runs, 2 hits. Ball 1 outside.
You know, Dick, it was interesting talking with Ozzie Guillen before the game. He said before the Detroit playoff, so to speak, playoff game, he said Thome and Griffey, they're getting old. This might be the last time they get a chance to be in the postseason. And you look tonight, the 2 guys that have really stepped it up, that veteran experience pays off.
They want another shot in postseason, and a fastball thrown by Thome, and the count 1-1. Thome 1 for 5 against Joe Nathan.
I just love Joe Nathan.
Yeah.
He just comes, here it is, hit it. I'm bringing it 98 at you. You turn it around, hats off.
Lowest ERA of any reliever in the big league since 2004. 2-1. White Sox leading 1-0. They're in the bottom of the 8th inning and trying to earn their spot in the postseason for the first time since they captured the World Series in 2005. Two-one pitch. Woo! 3-1.
Get back.
Well, as opposed to that fastball by Blackburn out over the plate where Tomey likes it. That one inside always crowds him.
Now, you think about all the home runs you've seen Tomey hit through the years, whether it was in Philadelphia, Cleveland, wherever. Center field, left center field. He doesn't really hit the long fly ball down the right field line.
And it's hit in the air to left center field. And Delman Young is there. Carlos Gomez comes over to make the catch to retire the side. Nathan gives up a single and gets the out. And now, coming up in the 9th inning.
Bring you back once again on our side of the 49th. I'm Jason Portwando. We are just 3 outs away from having a pair of Sox and 2 Chicago teams in the postseason. More from U.S. Cellular in a second, but first, Hockey Town, Montreal, Detroit. The Canadian version of Hockey Town, if you will. Habs fans would like to hear that as they're on the board at the Bell Center. Max Pacioretty makes it 1-0, but back comes the Invaders. Ryan O'Byrne loses the dribble. Ville Leno, nothing but net. They're still knotted playing in the third. Battle of Alberta. It's the preseason, but it's still a good thing. First period, Flames power play off the turnover. It's Dion Phaneuf, the defenseman, showing off his offensive skills. Calgary leads through 20. Coming up after the ball game, could be 3 outs away. Shauna Martine will serve you connected. There's a look at the menu. Enjoy the stretch drive. Top of 9 on the way from the south side.
Oh, no. Didn't get you, did he?
What?
Those things, psst. It's over. Hey, you know what? I've got a buddy with a skunk farm down the road. He'll know what to do. I could shoot you over there in the 2009 Suzuki Grand Vitara. New fuel-efficient 4-cylinder engine, 3,000-pound towing capacity. Come on. Oh, it's a little tricky to find. I'll navigate. You drive.
We think you should test drive a new Suzuki Grand Vitara, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you to do it.
All right, check it out. My pizza deal availability matrix shows which days have the deals. Like today, nothing. If we
or there's Pizza Hut's Pizza Mia's. They're just $6 every day. All 365.
That's my matrix.
Pizza Mia pizzas are just $6 each every day when you order 3 or more one-topping pizzas. Made with real Canadian pizza mozzarella and old world sauce from vine-ripened tomatoes.
And here,
$6 every day.
$6 never tasted so good. Order today. Prices may vary.
White Sox closer Bobby Jenks coming in with the White Sox leading 1-0. But it was just last week at the Metrodome in the 8th inning when Denard Span hit a triple off of Jenks, scoring Carlos Gomez with the tying run. And eventually, the Twins won it 7-6. And now Jenks is called on to save this game. He has 29 in the year for John Danks. And we're going to have a pinch hitter. Jason Kubel will be batting for Carlos Gomez. So the pinch hitter facing Bobby Jenks and fouls off the first pitch for a strike. Denard Span, who got that triple, is the on-deck hitter, and then Alexi Casilla. So here are the numbers for Bobby Jenks.
Second quickest pitcher to 100 saves. Only took him 187 games. Only 3 home runs he's given up this season.
And only 275 pounds.
Yeah, got that right.
He's coming all at you.
You know, it's interesting. You look back to last night's game when they were playing Detroit. With the White Sox getting 2 more runs added on late in the game, it took Jenks out of the ball game. Now it gives him a little more extra oomph tonight than he might have had otherwise.
Kubel swings and fouls it off. No balls and 2 strikes.
99 miles per hour there by Jenks.
I don't know how these guys hit a ball 99 miles an hour.
By the way, Kubel hit a 3-run homer off of Danks back in July and has hit 6 homers off of White Sox pitching. Check swing, did not go around. Third base umpire Jerry Meals checking it out, and it's 1-2. Good call.
Yeah, good call. Good job of holding off on that pitch. When a guy's throwing 99 miles an hour, all you can do is look for the fastball and adjust.
Here's the 1-2, swing and a miss, and there's 1 down as Kubel goes down on strikes. 1 out here in the night. We'd like to thank our Production and technical crew, the producer of tonight's game, Jeff Gowan, director Jim Lynch, our associate director, Eric Billigmeyer, production assistant, Jeff Paris, technical producer, Craig Marlowe, technical director, Simon Benazra. The producer of the studio show is Tim Kiley, director, Steve Fiorello. And the coordinating producer of the MLB on TBS is Glenn Diamond. Vice president of production is Howard Zalkowitz. The executive producer of Turner Sports is Jeff Benke. Here is Denard Span. Takes ball one, and the president of Turner Sports is David Levy. And the division series will start tomorrow on 3 fronts. Span, 0 for 1, has walked twice. Bobby Jenks trying to nail down his 30th save. And as a bounding ball, big hop to Nick Swisher, who went into play first for Konerko. And now the Twins are down to their last out. And the crowd on its feet. Here is Alexi Casilla, 0 for 3, and Jermaine Dye moving over toward the line and right. And a drive hit to center field, coming on in, and making the catch is Brian Anderson, and it's over. The White Sox win. Down, Brian Anderson with a superb defensive play to end it. And the White Sox will go on and play Tampa Bay Rays starting Thursday. And for the first time in 102 years, both Chicago teams are in the playoffs. And right now, let's go down to the field to Mark Fine.
All right, thanks, Dick. Jim, pretty big swing of the bat for you. Tell us about that at-bat in the homer.
Blackburn was throwing real well. He was throwing some cutters inside. You know, he moved the ball away. I think it was a changeup he left over the middle of the plate, and I was fortunate to hit it. I hadn't been doing much here the last 2 or 3 games, so it was nice to get that big hit.
Now, Harold Reynolds upstairs said the way you looked in the dugout, he thought you predicted you were going to hit a homer. Was he right?
No, not at all. Harold was being kind. I was just trying to have good at-bats. But, I mean, look at this. This is what it's all about. October baseball.
All right, you're in October baseball now. You got a guy in John Danks that got to be pretty happy with the way he performed, huh?
You know what? What a start. He come out, he threw all his pitches for strikes, and we're so proud of him. All our guys, they've done such a great job, and you know what? Now we can focus in on what we're trying to accomplish, and he did a hell of a job for us.
Now, before the game, Ozzie Guillen told us, you know, some of these guys might not get another shot at this. Another one of the old guys in the outfield and center there, Junior, making a pretty nice play, huh?
He did a heck of a job. I'm so happy for him too. The career he's had, for him to get into postseason, and we're gonna enjoy the ride. But understand that Tampa's got a nice club. Go down there, hopefully see what we can do.
Yeah, you only played 3 series against them this year. Good young pitching. Can handicap it for us a little bit?
Well, Joe Madden, you know what? He does a terrific job with those guys. They've had a good year. Hopefully we can go down there and play our game, and hopefully it'll be a great series.
All right, we'll see you down at 10.
Thank you.
All right, Dick, up to you.
All right, thank you very much, Mark. And the White Sox win their first 1-0 game of the season. And it came at the biggest time of all in the one-game playoff, and they celebrate in the White Sox clubhouse, and rightfully so. 1-0, the White Sox move on, and time now for our game summary brought to you by Frank TV. John Danks, what does that mean for Danks' performance, Ron Darling?
Those one of those games that can turn your whole career around. Where next year, when you come into spring training, you're saying to yourself, you know what? I got to work off that game of 8 innings. I could be a star in this league.
He's a force now, and you can see it. You know, the interesting thing is that Ozzie Guillen, every move he made, taking Griffey out, making the play with Nick Swisher at first base, and then going to Jenks at the end of the ballgame. Everything he did worked out perfect.
Well, they wore black, and it paid off as the home field advantage paid off here. So for Ron Darling, Harold Reynolds, and Mark Fine, Dick Stockton saying so long from Chicago. Coming up next, it's Inside MLB, presented by Captain Morgan, with Ernie Johnson, Cal Ripken, Dennis Eckersley. And that's all coming up right after these messages. Celebration time in the Windy City as the White Sox move on. So long, everybody.